Awesome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to JFR Info Session 2.0. So we did one last week on Facebook and decided to do one on YouTube. I'm just going to close the door. Give me 1 second. Right on. So I am going to, how this is kind of going to work is I'm going to go through our presentation that we have for the JFR program that we usually do for schools and students across the province. So I'll go through. I will go through that, and then if you have any questions at any point during the stream, feel free to type it into the chat. My coworker is Kira is in the chat and working that, and she can help answer any questions. So I will get started here. So the JFR program is a summer work experience for Alberta high school students, as well as college and university students across the country. But right now we're just focusing on our crew member positions. It's for 16 to 18-year-old full-time high school students in Alberta, and the deadline is coming up to apply, which is on April 1st. So about a week away now. And the main goal of our program is to showcase different careers that you can go into in natural resources, but as well as other environmental sectors as well. So we look at different careers in forestry, wildfire, fish and wildlife, conservation, environmental stewardship, and a few other things. So how the program kind of works is we'll have 9 crews stationed on different fire bases across the province this year, and a crew consists of 6 high school students and 2 leaders, who are our post-secondary students or graduates. And you live on a fire base, and every day you go out to take part in different work projects or educational opportunities. So every day is something unique and different than the last, and it's a paid summer job, so it's an awesome experience throughout the entire summer. So I'll get into it here, and if you have any questions at any point, just type it into the chat. Normally I would show a video at the start, but video seems to be a little bit laggy, so we'll just hold off for that. You can always check that out on our website as well. So I was mentioning that our crews do different work projects throughout the summer, so work projects and educational opportunities. So these work projects are more of the hands-on sort of projects that our crews get to take part in. And our leaders are the ones who plan all the projects by networking with different professionals. They have the month of June to set up the whole summer calendar for the high school students. So our leaders are the ones who plan these projects, and we aim to have a 70% in total of those projects to be more geared towards these hands-on projects. So that's anything from stream assessments, building, and we usually work with a company called TSAG for that, and they travel around to the different crews and help them out to do that. And most crews will do some trail building. Sometimes that's in a provincial park. Some crews will be able to build like a small bridge or boardwalks. Most crews will get a taste of fire smarting in their communities. Some areas in the province under this program is also, I don't think I mentioned it, but is a government-run program, and we are under Alberta Wildfire. So the awesome aspect of that is it is a great stepping stone in that direction. But also a lot of the areas will put on either a mock wildfire for the crew, or they will. So it is rare, but sometimes a crew will actually get to go out to an actual wildfire and take part in the mop-up, which is always exciting, and you get a little taste of that wildfire action. Some crews will build birdhouses or bat boxes, and some tree planting. So those are more of the hands-on work projects that our crews get to do. And then the other 30% is more geared towards educational projects, so not so labor-intensive projects. And these are anything from climbing a lookout tower, doing ATV certification, getting a tour of a lumber mill and a cut block. Most crews will get a helicopter ride and interact with the wildfire crews and what their job entails during a wildfire. Some crews will, or all crews will get a good taste of learning about native plants and animals in their area, So we do a fair amount of who are really skilled in that area, or you most likely will have some professionals to help out with that as well. Which is always exciting. And then another awesome aspect of this program is most of the crews all the crews will get to do some sort of certification. Some crews will do their wilderness first aid. Some crews will do like their standard first aid and CPR if nobody really has that on the crew. Some crews last year did their canoe certification, and then, as I mentioned before, their ATV certification, which is always a nice ticket to have going into the forestry industry. It shows you know how to use one properly. So yeah, these are more of the educational projects that our crews get to do, and these are exciting. And that middle picture there is getting a tour of the crew is I think that's the Peace River crew, getting a tour of the local. It's Grand Prairie. Sorry, from a couple of years ago, get tour of the local air tanker base. So you get to see all the different aircrafts that the wildfire crews get to use. Yeah. Moving on. So all of our crews get to do a 3-day Indigenous Culture camp. Indigenous culture is a huge aspect of this program, and we emphasize it, and we get crews out to different Indigenous communities across the province, and they all have unique and just awesome experiences. So some of those culture camps you get to do, it's a wide variety of things, and it completely depends on the area that you're in. So some crews, they'll hang out and how to gut them and smoke them traditionally. Some crews will be able to visit with an elder, and some of those crews who get to visit with an elder, in the past they've done a sweat with them and done some storytelling, which is always an incredible experience. Some crews will in the past have made moose collars, learning how to snare properly, tanning hides. I mean, there's all kinds of different experiences. So it's a huge part of this program and a lot of fun for the crews. Crews work Monday to Friday, 8:15 to 4:30. But another awesome aspect of this program is that during the evenings and on weekends, the crews kind of dive into the more team development areas. And sometimes that just might be relaxing, having a campfire one evening, playing a board game, that sort of thing. But then on the weekends, our crews get to take part in all kinds of different fun activities, outdoor recreation stuff. So one day you might, on a Saturday or Sunday, you might be going mountain biking with your crew. Some crews will go kayaking or canoeing if those are available in your area. Most crews will go for a hike, a big long hike. And stop and have a lunch along the way and do some learning along that hike. So usually some flora and fauna ID skills too, which is always fun. Some crews have even done rock climbing in the past. It totally depends. So the weekends are a great way to have fun and just get a taste of those other outdoor rec activities that you get to do. So our summer ends with our event called Bull of the Woods. Typically in a non-pandemic year, our crews get together at the end of the year and take part in a 2-day event at the end of the summer called Bull of the Woods. But because of COVID, we've had to make some adjustments, and last year it was a virtual event, and we're planning on doing a similar style event this year. So that event this year, so how it's going to work at the end of this summer is crews will take part in a variety of it's about 6 different competition events that crews will take part in on their own base, and then we record that footage and we all put it together at the end of the summer, and we host a 2 to 3 hour live event for the crews to watch. It takes part on the last day or the last evening that the crew is on base. So the crews get to watch the live event together. We have family and friends are invited to watch the live stream, as well as we always have VIP guests join the stream. We like to chime. Last year we chimed in. We had most of the crews. We called into the crews and saw them on a live stream and talked to them for a little bit. And the other aspect is the Indigenous culture. We showcase some of that as well during Bull of the Woods. So normally at Bull of the Woods it's a full day strictly for Indigenous culture, where we were playing hand games and doing storytelling and playing traditional games, doing some arts and crafts, doing some dancing and drumming. So it's not to that extent virtually, but we definitely add aspects of that into the live stream, and then we also showcase all of the different competition events that the crews recorded on their own base, and we put that all together, and it turns into mainly a live stream with recorded footage spliced in. So it's a great way to finish off the summer, and it's a great way for family and friends to see how that event unfolds and what the crews were up to. So our crews, they live on a wildfire base. Each of the crews live on different fire bases. So the crews, it completely depends on the base the area that you're located in. So this picture on the left is it's the Grayling Fire Base up in Fort McMurray. In that picture there, the building with a green roof on it is more traditional trailers that our crews get to stay in. So up everybody, but because of COVID, everybody gets their own room. And also on site are this front building there. The closest one is the little office there, but there's also kitchen, dining room on site, as well as washroom facilities as well. So it's a great opportunity to chat with them and kind of understand their jobs and what they get to do during the summer. And then other areas get to be more. So this is the Rocky Mountain House area on the Shunda Fire Base, and they stay in little A-frame cabins like this. And so this year, everybody will get their own little cabin to stay in, which is pretty awesome. And then usually most crews throughout the summer, if those projects I was talking about before, so sometimes those projects might last 2 or 3 days away from your base. They'll bring tents and they'll sleep out for a couple of nights and bring their own food and get a taste of cooking out in the bush. Which is always fun. The crews get to cook for themselves. And then I mentioned, so meals, there's no cost associated with the accommodations or the meals as well. So with the meals, so what usually happens on a typical day is, you wake up on your fire base with your crew. You have a hot breakfast on site, and then get your bag lunch, have that packed and ready to go. Pack up all your gear into the work truck, and then the leaders are the ones who drive you to your work site, wherever that might be. That might be 10 minutes down the road, or it might be an hour and a half away, depending on what the leaders had planned for that day. And then you drive back to your fire base at the end of the day after your work project, and then you get to have a nice hot dinner on site that is cooked for you, and you don't really have to do much cleaning either with regards to dinner, so that's always a nice perk. And that's it. And we're really lucky. I mean, we're with Wildfire, so the crews get fed really well, and we get to piggyback on that, and our crews get fed. And then, so you might be wondering where these crews get stationed. So under Wildfire, the Alberta Wildfire divides the province up into 10 different forest areas. And we get to utilize that. So this summer we're going to have 9 crews, 9 out of those 10 areas. So we're going to have a crew in every area except the Whitecourt Forest area this summer. So all of the other crew areas we're going to utilize. So High Level, Peace River, Fort Mac, Lac La Biche, Slave Lake, and the crew in Slave Lake is stationed in High Prairie. Grand Prairie, the Edson Forest area, the crew in there is stationed in Hinton. Rocky Mountain House, and then Calgary, which is stationed a little bit southwest of the city. So those are the different locations we get. The tools and equipment. So another awesome aspect of this program is you get to have some training in all the different tools that Wildfire uses, and the stuff that we get to use for different those more hands-on work projects. So building trails, that sort of thing. So Our second year crews get trained on the chainsaw. Some will. We aim to get them their level 2, their Bucker's license. So that's a great perk of being a second year crew member. And then, as well as we are planning on potentially getting out to a few of the first year crews this year. So to do some chainsaw training. So we're excited to get that done. And then all the other tools, you get trained on brush saws, and then shovels, Pulaskis, axes, and a few other things. So Always good tools to know how to use. So we provide all of the equipment that we use throughout the summer. The only thing that we don't provide are steel-toe boots, so that is something that crew members have to purchase before they come out to the program. So this is one of our crew members from a couple of years ago who has all of his personal gear, personal protective equipment on. So we provide the hard hat, the earmuffs, face shield, the coveralls that you see called Nomex there. We also provide gloves and eyeglasses, but we always recommend purchasing your own as you can definitely purchase ones that are a bit more comfortable for with regards to eyeglasses and or safety glasses and gloves. And then personal gear. So anybody that gets hired, we provide you with a list of gear. The list is also up on the JFR website. I think it's under the resources tab, so you can have a look at that as well. So it's mainly just being prepared for the summer with regards to clothing. So that's having proper rain gear, enough clothing to get you through a few days before you can do some wash. If you've never done your own laundry before, it's a great chance to learn how to do that. You have to bring your own sleeping bag. We definitely recommend bringing your own sleeping pad as well. We have a few extras with the program if you don't have one of those. And then having a hat and it usually gets a little colder in certain areas as the summer progresses, especially starting to get into later August. So we recommend bringing warm clothing as well. So it's just a matter of having the right gear throughout the summer, and we definitely help out with that. So this is a big one, how to apply. So the deadline is coming up. It's coming up in a week on April 1st. And it's a little bit different this year on how we typically receive applications. So in order to apply to the job this year, you have to create a profile on the Alberta job posting site, so the GOA job board. So it's a matter of, and all the instructions are right on our website, albertajfr.ca. If you go into this, so this is the main page here. So if you go into applications and you scroll down, so on here you can see the new hiring process and exactly what you have to do. So you can click here, and that brings up exactly how to create it. So what you have to do is create a profile on that job board. And then that allows you to apply on all the jobs that are on the job board. And the JFR crew member posting is right on the job board. So you search that out once you've created your profile. And from there, you can upload all of our documents that are part of our application process. So there's 3 different aspects to it. So the first part is filling out personal information. And then the second part of that, part A, is doing a letter of interest. So there's a bunch of questions at the top here, 7 different questions, and we want you to answer that in the space provided, or you could attach a separate sheet if you feel the need to do so. And it's just a chance for us to learn more about you and understand why you've decided to apply to JFR. And then at the bottom, we also encourage you to put your top 3 crew locations from the locations I mentioned before. And then the second part of that is our fitness test. So the JFR fitness test is it's pretty straightforward. You have to wear a 25-pound backpack, and you have to measure out 3.2 kilometers or 2 miles, and you have to walk that, not run, you have to walk that in 30 minutes or less. It doesn't matter how quickly you do it, as long as you're under that 30 minutes, it just is marked down as a pass or fail on our side. So it's you want to make sure you're able to walk that in 30 minutes or less. And for this, we definitely recommend getting a teacher or a coach, somebody like that can help you time. We understand that there's definitely some challenges this year with COVID, so we're totally okay if you want to have a neighbor or even if you don't really have anybody else that you can turn to, so a parent or guardian that can help you time or measure that out and time you. So as long as you do it properly and time that out, you fill out this form. You fill out just your name and stuff, and then your time you put down and submit that as part of your application as well. But just remember, there is a what's called a PAR-Q, so it's just a questionnaire to make sure that you are physically capable of doing and in the right mindset to do that fitness test. So you just make sure you want to attach that as well to your fitness test. And then the last part is getting 2 references. So normally on a resume that you create, you submit a list of references for the employer to contact, but we just require you to get a reference to fill this form out and submit it on your behalf. So those references can either, once they fill that out, can either submit it directly to us, to the JFR email account, which is up on our website, or they can submit it to you and you can attach it as part of your application. And we definitely encourage you to get somebody like a teacher or a coach, or a current or previous employer, somebody like that can fill a reference. We don't really want to see, a parent or an aunt or uncle, somebody like that, filling out this form. We encourage you to get somebody, if you've been part of a sports team, somebody like that to help you to fill this out, a reference form for you. And then once you've done all of that, you can submit that to your profile on the Government of Alberta website, on the job board. And then so I did mention on how to create that profile. And then there's also another document that shows you how to apply to a specific job. In this case, the JFR crew member job. And if at any point you're confused or having issues with the system and you can't upload things properly, let us know. Give us a phone call, send us an email, and we can definitely help guide you through that process. So the requirements for the crew member position, you have to be a full-time high school student in Alberta and between the ages of 16 and 18 years old as of July 1st. So if you're 15 right now, and you turn 16 before July 1st, that's all good. You can definitely apply. If you're turning 16 after that, you'll just have to wait till next year. So the other thing you want to make sure is that you have a valid SIN card. So you need this in order to have a bank account and in order to get a job. So if you don't have one, make sure you start that process now, because it does take a bit of time. And then some of the things that we're looking for when on your application is that the huge aspect of this program is teamwork. So you want to make sure that you showcase that you are part of a sports team or a different organization in your community, whether you do some volunteer work, or if you are part of a hobbyist group, anything like that. If you get together with a bunch of people and play Dungeons and Dragons on a monthly basis or something like that, hey, that's working as part of a team. So anything that's has a team aspect to it, put it on in your letter of interest. Other things we want to see are that you're capable of being comfortable working outside for the summer. So if you have a lot of camping experience, hiking, that sort of thing, just let us know in your letter of interest. And then leadership is a big one as well. So we understand that the applicants to this program are high school students, and you're young and maybe you don't have a ton of leadership experience, or not at all. So make sure you let us know what sort of leadership skills that you have developed so far, and what leadership skills that you want to develop and how you plan on developing those skills. And then the one thing we always tell you to do is know what you're signing up for. So it's awesome that you're listening to this live session, but also make sure you go check out the website, watch our videos. We have so what happens during summer is all of our crews do a weekly video blog that is submitted to YouTube and onto the JFR account. And there's a bunch of different weekly video blogs from past years that you can go check out and check out, because they show all kinds of stuff that they got to do during the summer. So I definitely recommend checking those out. And then so as I mentioned before, it's a paid summer job, so it is $15 an hour, and then meals and accommodations are free. You can earn a few certificates, and then gain all kinds of skills along the way. So there's all kinds of perks to this program. This is stuff I kind of went over the different parts of the application, so I'm not going to go through that again. And that is pretty much the presentation. So I haven't checked if there's any questions yet, but I will. Pardon?
We're doing pretty good on questions.
Yeah, are you answering some or?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mostly about the applications.
Sweet. can I answer any here?
What is a SIN?
What is a SIN? Is your social insurance number. So it's a 9-digit number, I think, unless it's changed. So you'll have to go to the government. I don't know how they're doing it during a pandemic, but just look up how to get your social insurance number if you don't have one. It's best if you just Google that and understand the process involved. You need that in order to have a bank account, and you need a bank account to be a part of this program because we do direct deposit. Where can you find the videos? So if you were to go onto our Facebook page, or if you go onto YouTube and you just Google Junior Forest Rangers, our channel is called Alberta JFR. So if you look up Alberta JFR on YouTube, that should link you to a bunch of different videos on our on YouTube there. And if you have Facebook or we're on Instagram as well. So if you look up Alberta JFR on Instagram, there's a bunch of different photos up there as well. Yeah, you can. The other thing you can do with your application is if you don't have to fill it out on your computer. You can also print out those forms and just write everything out with a pen if you're more comfortable that way. And the one thing you can do is upload, take a picture of it and submit it as a JPEG. Or you can also there's also PDF creators. You can get apps on your phone. That's an easy thing there's some free ones out there. You just take a picture of it and automatically creates a PDF out of that file. So that's something you can do too. So if it's a little tricky to fill out on your computer, and you have access to a printer, maybe at school, just print them out. But make sure you just upload those to your profile. Oh yeah, the long weekend. So that was one thing I forgot to mention is the long weekend. So all crew members get that long weekend completely off. And leaders do as well. So everybody gets picked up on that weekend on the Friday, at some point on the Friday, depending on when leaders plan on having crew members get picked up. So it might be in the early afternoon. You get picked up and then take off for that weekend, go home. Some people will go camping for a weekend or something for that weekend, and then you get dropped back off on the Monday late afternoon or on the evening. The one thing I didn't really touch on yet is COVID, and so we definitely have taken. And Kira, I'm not sure if you answered any questions on that.
Not yet, I'm here.
So COVID, yeah, it's definitely caused us to make some adjustments and caused us to be adaptable in this pretty crazy situation. So we're definitely following all provincial guidelines, but we also have taken extra strides being under Alberta Wildfire, and we understand that we're responsible for 54 high school students for the summer, and we want to ensure your safety to the greatest degree. So we do, there's all kinds of things we've done. So making masks mandated whenever you're indoors, outdoors, if social distancing isn't an option. We also encourage you. We've also made adjustments on the fire bases, so some adjustments to the meal times, how many people can sit at a table. For the most part, it's eating outdoors, weather permitted, or taking your meal back to your room if need be. There's other things we've done, masking the vehicles. We've reduced the crew numbers on each crew this year to try and reduce the number of people in a vehicle. We're doing daily assessments on the crew members. They fill out a form if they're feeling under the weather at all. We have plans in place for that. Should anybody show any symptoms, isolating that individual, getting tested. We potentially have access to rapid testing this year, so we our crews might be utilizing that once a week with the wildfire crews. Yeah, we're taking it very seriously, and we want to just ensure that we are following all guidelines and making sure our crew members are safe and leaders are safe, and that anybody that we interact with, we want to make sure that we're keeping them safe as well, because our crews are interacting with different professionals in those different environmental fields on a daily basis. So we set those expectations pretty high. Does anybody have any other questions? Wondering what else I can tell you, everybody who's watching.
Vehicles getting dropped off.
Oh yeah, vehicles is a good one. So, yeah, our leaders are the ones who drive our work vehicles. We make sure that they're licensed, competent drivers, and each crew gets an SUV and a pickup truck to transport the crew and the tools that we utilize around to the different projects. But our crew members, we definitely just encourage you to get dropped off by family members or friends or whoever, however you can find a lift to your base. Because if you bring your own personal vehicle, it's basically going to be sitting there until the August long weekend when you can utilize it. So, as I mentioned before, safety is a huge priority, and driving's a bigger one of the bigger risks in this program, and so we definitely discourage driving your own vehicle out there because you're not able to use it throughout the summer. Would this help me being a conservation officer? Absolutely. So we often do work with environment parks here in Alberta. So it's a great way to interact with conservation officers. So our leaders, if that's something that you're interested in, so what happens during June is our leaders, they learn who's on their crew. So our leaders will contact all of the crew members. They'll usually give them phone calls and have a chat with you on the phone and learn more about you. They'll go over, sort of what to expect during the summer, but they'll also ask you, what are your interests? What do you want to get out of this summer? And if that is potentially being a conservation officer down the road, they will do everything they can to line up a day or like a half day chat with a conservation officer where the crew can hang out with a conservation officer for the day and see what they get to do, and learn about how they got into that program, what they did for school, what experiences led them to being a conservation officer. And this program, since the JFR is widely known, especially in the environmental community in this province. So if you have JFR on your resume, it's an awesome stepping stone in that direction. That's something that they definitely will mark as a highlight on your resume. So and then along with that, we provide assessments as the summer goes on, right? So we'll do like a mid-season evaluation on all of our crew members and leaders, and then at the end of the summer. So we encourage you to work hard, and that assessment you can use it for future jobs, especially if it's something like a conservation officer with parks here in Alberta. It's a great way to form relationships with them and showcase what you've done in the past, and that you worked hard in this program and did really well. Mentioned mountain biking. Does a student need to bring their own bike or other equipment? Yeah. So I can't remember exactly if any bikes were provided for the crews that were able to do mountain biking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, from Calgary.
Yeah, so I guess some bikes were provided with what the organization that they worked with, or
Yeah.
yeah. So just talking to Kira, she mentioned that yeah, it's the one that some organizations will lend out some bikes if so the crew, what happens is the crew would have done some work for that mountain biking company, and they will. And then in exchange they'll provide some bikes and hit up the trails for a few hours or whatever the agreement is, and then but yeah, if you want to bring your own bike, absolutely, you can absolutely do that, and then utilize that. And if that's something that maybe the entire crew has or wants to utilize, the crew leaders will mention that to everybody on their crew, and maybe have a few bikes within the crew, and the crew members can utilize that their own bike, and then if not, then hopefully get one provided by the organization that you'd be working with. I know that we don't have a white worker crew this year, but the Hinton crew, there's an awesome mountain biking trail in Hinton, and we usually get to work with the organization that runs those mountain bike trails, and help them out with fixing up some of those trails, in exchange for some riding. And Kira mentioned last year that the Calgary crew did some of that as well. Yeah, the weekends are a blast, for the crew. It's You're not getting paid, but Kira and I will always go out and visit the crews too, and try to get out on the weekends. And in the past, we've paddled down the Peace River, for a day, and other crews have done it for a full weekend. Spend the night somewhere, camped along the river. Doing the Rocky Mountain House last year, did some rock climbing, with I forget who the individual was, but helped him with his course, I guess, in exchange for some climbing. Yeah, it's an awesome way to experience the weekend. And it's if you've had enough of your parents or siblings or friends, it's a nice break from them, get away from them for a little bit, and meet. It's a great way. It's an awesome way to meet people, and different people in the province that you've never met before. The awesome aspect of this program is you get to meet all kinds of new people and see parts of the province maybe that you've never seen before, and develop those skills. So it's a risk, and it's maybe getting outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe some of you have never been home away from for that period of time, which is a significant period of time, and that can be a challenge for some people. So, but I highly encourage you to push yourself and get out there a little bit. What else can I tell you? Pardon?
We're not scary.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Kira and I are always answering our phones, and answering emails. So send us an email. All of our contact info is up on our website. Actually, I don't think your phone number. We should get your phone number up there, Kira, so I can stop answering all the phone calls. Yeah. So, give us a phone call. I think we're pretty nice people. So we love our jobs. We absolutely love this program. We've been doing it. I've been doing this program since the spring of 2016. I was a leader in 2008 and 2009. Kira was a leader, and she started in 2016. She was on Wildfire for 4 years before that in total, I think. And then she's been the program assistant for JFR for a number of years now, and it's we love this program, and we could talk about it all day. But yeah, give us a call, send us an email. We'll answer any questions. Horseback riding trips. It doesn't happen often, or I shouldn't say it doesn't. It doesn't happen for all of the crews. So the Hinton crew usually does it, and they make it part of. They do some Indigenous culture along the way, and they helped out the volunteer trail building community within the Wilmore. So they went in on horseback for a couple of days, helped extend a trail or build some new trails, and then did some horseback riding out. I joined the trip a few years ago with the Hinton crew, and it was an incredible experience. I had never been on a horse on trails in that aspect, so it was unbelievable. It was a lot of fun. So not too many other crews get to do that yet, but we always encourage our leaders to form new partnerships. So if there are, and I'm sure there's potentially some other horseback riding associations out there that would be willing to partner with us. So if that's something the crew really was gung-ho about, then maybe that's something the leaders could find in their area. But it's not. It's definitely not a guarantee, but something to potentially have the crew look into, the leaders look into. And I think Calgary last year, they were hanging out with some horses. I don't think they went horseback riding, but it was part of their culture camp. I think down south. And each area is completely unique in the projects that they get to do. So there's generally like a core set of projects that I was talking about before, like the trail building, tree planting, tour of a lumber mill, and a few others that all the crews will get to take part in, helicopter rides. But then there's other projects that the crews get to do that are completely unique and specific to that area. Like Fort Mac, for instance, they get to go up to Fort Chipewyan, and they'll do some culture up there, but they also will do a ton of fishing. And there's also potentially an opportunity to go up to, I forget what it's called. Is it Richardson Sand Dunes? I might be getting that wrong. But there's each area is unique and it's completely different from one another, and they all have awesome aspects. So definitely check out those locations on our website. Are the trips mandatory? What if you're? Yeah, we wouldn't put if somebody was allergic. It actually happened last year with the crew. The Hinton crew. So one of the students had an allergy to horses, and we didn't want to put that individual in that situation. So what we did was we took that crew member and brought that individual down to Rocky Mountain House, and that individual hung out with Rocky for a few days and did projects with them, and then it ended up going back to his crew once the crew was finished up with the horses. So there's definitely ways around it. And we wouldn't want to put somebody in that situation where we were exposing them to allergies, especially severe allergies. And then, I guess more specific location stuff. So High Prairie crew, for instance, they usually go out every year to Slave Lake for a week, for a work week, and hang out with like the local fire hall there, and they'll talk to them and hang out with them for a half day. And they usually will hit up the Slave Lake, the Lesser Slave Bird Observatory up there, and hang out with them, and they'll do some bird banding and stuff, and potentially help them out with potential projects. Peace River, I have an obsession with birds, so I'm a huge bird nerd. So the Peace River crew, there's an awesome gentleman up there who works under Wildfire, who tries to get out with the crew every year to do some owl stuff with them. So he's a master bander, and he usually he'll catch an owl or two for the crew, and they'll band the owl and do some stuff with that, and it's always a highlight for that crew for sure. It's not entirely finalized. We're still working on it. At the moment, it's potentially Calgary, but we're still trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out who's all applying, and we don't really want to force anybody to drive entirely across the province, but we're working on a couple things. But at the moment, it's potentially Calgary. With the returning leader there, so that's it's exciting. We haven't had a second year crew in Calgary for a while, or I don't know if we've ever had a second year crew down there. So we're testing out new things potentially this year. And we're also working on exactly. So we split up our crews with male and female crews, right? So some of the areas will be male crews, and some of the areas will be female crews, and that changes up every year. So that's something to pay attention to as well. We haven't finished that yet. It does depend on the applicants we get. So we kind of have a draft in place right now, but we'll make sure to communicate that to everybody during the interview phase, where those potential female and male crews are. And we tend to get more male applicants every year. That's the way it's gone pretty much every year. So we're trying. We'd like to see more females come into the program, and so definitely encourage some of them to step out and jump into this realm, and we'd like to have some more. We have a lot more female leaders this year, so we'd like to get some more female crews as well. Well, I think we scheduled this for an hour. Yeah, I'll leave it a couple more minutes if anybody has any other questions. We also try to hook all of our crews up with some swag throughout the summer. So last year we ordered these water bottles. We try to get you that, and then our own JFR specific uniform, I'll call it, but it's a t-shirt and a polo or a hoodie. And it's part of our uniform whenever our crews go to take a tour of a lumber mill, or a fish hatchery down in Rocky Mountain House, that sort of thing. We like our crews to put on their JFR shirts and show off the program a little bit. So we definitely hook you guys up with some good stuff during the summer. We also try to get the crews into bushcraft and survival skills, trained up on that. So we definitely learn how to use knives properly. So it depends if we can get that training. Last year, try to utilize a gentleman by the name of Kelly Harleton, who's a huge bushcraft expert, and he teaches us how to use knives safely and properly, and you get to practice, carving and using that knife properly out in the bush. So that's one thing that we provide you as well. So not really a huge need to bring your own knife, but if that's something you wanted to bring, like a pocket knife or that sort of thing, you could do that as well. Oh yeah, and you can earn. The one thing I mentioned is you can earn up to 10 work experience credits. So that's through your high school. So the one thing you do need to have before the summer starts is you need to have that HCS 3000 course completed before the summer. There's some paperwork as well. So if that's something that you would want to do, it's a total of 10 work experience credits, because it's around 250 hours. That's 25 hours per credit. So definitely talk to your school counselor about that one. Does the fitness test get submitted with the application together, or I would recommend just submitting it all as one application. But yeah, you can absolutely make adjustments to your profile, attach that fitness test. If you just uploaded your part A so far, you can as long as it's all up there before April 1st, that's totally good. But definitely want to make sure that's in by April 1st at the latest. Should we set up? I'm not too sure what you mean there. Giraffosaurus, should we set up direct deposit? Yeah, if you don't have direct deposit, yeah, definitely get a bank account, so that you can, because we do direct deposit. So and it's something you're definitely going to need as you get older too. So definitely encourage you to get your own bank account for sure. Some advice I'll give you too is if you have any questions for us over the next week while you're applying, we highly encourage you, the student, to call us or send us an email. We definitely understand parents have questions, and they can absolutely call us too. But if you have a question specifically for your application, or want to learn more, call us yourselves. So we definitely like to see that. And it's a good skill to have too, a good thing to practice. We're definitely super nice on the phone. There's no stupid questions. We understand this program. There's a lot to this program, a lot of little nuances and small details, and things you have concerns about. So or want to know more of. So give us a call or send us an email. Well, I'll let this go for another minute, and then we'll shut it down. But just any last minute questions out there? Well, I will stop it there unless anything comes up here while I'm signing off here. So, um, thank you for chiming in and listening to the presentation. And yeah, again, there's all of our contact info is up on our website. If you want to reach out to us, all the application requirements and instructions on the Alberta JFR website. So head over there if you want to check things out. There's lots of good information on the website. So go check it out. Right on. Yeah, thanks everybody. We hope you have an awesome day, and look forward to seeing your applications.
It's showing you scrolling.
Yeah, that's okay.